Hi, Tribe. I hope everyone's doing well. Take a moment to connect to your inner world, to your divine self. I want to talk about psychic attacks. And before I go into it, I just want to be very clear. You have nothing to be afraid of. Whatever you're experiencing, although in a dream state it could feel like a struggle, you're totally protected. And it's tenfold, the protection that you have. So I'm just sharing this in case you are experiencing something similar. Also to give you an idea of what's going on somewhere. I mean, it's in all planes, it's in all dimensions. It's not just in the astral, it's just not in this matrix. I feel that there's a lot happening on all levels. So I'm just going to say it like a story. It started with November 11th, 2018, which is an 11-11-11 portal. That night I go to sleep, and in my sleep I'm having a dream where I'm being attacked. And the way it always feels to me when I'm attacked in a dream is that something is restraining me and everything is paralyzed. My vocal cords are paralyzed, my arms and legs, and then there's this huge struggle, almost as if it almost feels like if an anaconda would have grabbed me, and I was unable to become free of that grip. And so I'm struggling to get out of this grip. And when I finally do, I wake up, but not like I usually do. In the past, when I'm experiencing this struggle, I'm in theta, which means I am between wake and dream state. So I'm in between world of waking up and still in a dream. But this time when I wake up, when I release myself from the grip, I'm still in a dream. So I fall into another dream, and I realize I woke up into another dream. And then I went back to struggle. I went back into the struggle. And again, I'm struggling again to get out of the grip. It's a little frightening while I'm in it, but since I've experienced it before, I know I'm going to be okay. So that's what I'm saying. You're going to be okay if you're experiencing anything like this. And again, when I woke up, or it wasn't even waking up, when I'm able to release myself, I again fall into a dream. So it was like I was very deep in levels of dreams. And when I finally, the last time, I think I did this process 3 times. And then the last one, I never had to do it in theta. I just woke up. And it was strange because it was difficult to even remember a few minutes after I woke up that it actually happened. So I take a shower that morning, and it's vaguely in my subconscious. And I get dressed, I start walking to work, and the strangest things happen to me. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but a huge New York City rat comes right at me and literally almost climbs on top of me. It's going straight for me. There's other people in the street. There's many different places that this rat could go to, but it was going straight for me. Everyone around me screamed. I had to jump to prevent this rat from literally climbing on top of me. And this woman comes up to me and says to me, "I feel so sorry for you." And I'm like, really? So, I thought it was the strangest comment. Like, I would have expected, wow, that would have freaked me out. But she felt sorry for me. Almost as for me, it was like a message like, you know, you were the target of that. Like that somehow that rat went right for you. or that I couldn't live down the experience. So it suddenly hit me, like, I don't know what. The message she gave me, it hit me that I was under attack. And I know most people would say, oh, that's, paranoid, whatever. But for me, it came like a deep message. And I started to realize that all of us, our entire tribe, that whatever little crack or crevice that some negativity could enter, it was going to work with it. And that's why I recorded the recording I did on November 12th, because it was very clear to me that something was trying to, working overtime to dissolve relationships that were very important to form. Then, when that happened, I said to myself, Mel, be vigilant. Be vigilant, keep your eyes open. And as I'm crossing the street, this man who happened to be incorrectly in the left lane, you know how sometimes you get in the left lane and you have to take a left, but you really wanted to go straight? As soon as he felt that there was no one crossing the street, he ran the red light in order to get ahead of everybody else so that he wasn't forced to make the left turn. But guess what? I was there. Somehow I was invisible to him and he almost ran me over. So to me, it felt very much like my guidance saying, be alert, stay alert. And that was Monday. Tuesday, I stepped outside. So Tuesday is what? November 13th. Tuesday, I stepped outside to get some fresh air. And as I'm standing there, something enters. Now, this is nothing unusual for me. Many times I'm at meetings. These are academy meetings I go to where we really intentionally go into presence and we elevate the energy and you could feel the shift in energy. But I'm standing there, I'm not intentionally doing this, and something descends and completely paralyzes me, but not in a way that I couldn't walk away from it. It's such a beautiful, gentle, higher energy that you almost want to stay still for it. And so I was staying still for it. And then all of a sudden I feel this opaque, bright light coming. It was opaque, but white. And I say bright because it was completely taking away. I couldn't see. And came right into my right eye, which is really unusual. And as I'm sitting there going, what is this? And I start to do this mental chatter. I heard a voice say, stay still. We're trying to download something for you. So I sit there and I go, okay, I'm going to stay still. But I was extremely uncomfortable. My knees were going weak. I felt like whatever was happening, I needed to sit down. So I started to get into the mental chatter. I need to sit down. And again, this voice came in and said, stay still. So I'm sitting there. My eyes are wide open. I really look like a deer in headlights. And there are other people around me. And I'm staring out into space. And I'm sure I looked very odd. And eventually, the energy went away. I went upstairs to my office. And I was sick. Dizzy, sick, nauseous. I didn't understand what happened. I sat down and I had this understanding somewhere that it will take time for whatever came through to fully integrate in me, and that the download will come, whatever that was, will become clear to me at another time. I had a date that night, which the gentleman was really, really nice. But I feel like sometimes when we know these cosmic or galactic downloads are coming, that we need to sort of make space for rest, because I came home and I totally crashed. totally crashed. Couldn't remember any dreams that night whatsoever. Woke up the next morning numb, totally numb, and with a little bit of a neck ache, like on my neck and shoulder, like where the neck and shoulder connect, but on the right side, I felt a little bit of pain. And I proceeded having my normal day. At this point, I'm not going to the gym. I've barely gone to the gym. I go twice a week instead of my normal 5 times a week. And I'm feeling this, the pain in my neck is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, to the point where that night, Wednesday into Thursday night, I was in excruciating pain. I mean, I couldn't sleep. I had to pull everything I had in order to asking for all the assistance from the angelic world, from my higher self to help me with it. I was really suffering. And the interesting thing is that night I did fall asleep, and I dreamt of having neck pain. I was in a dream, and in the dream I had a neck pain, and I was again psychically attacked. And this time in the dream, I'm trying to use my voice, because one of the ways that I used to get myself out of this grip, when I used to be in theta, when I was almost awake and I was aware of being in between, I used to say the Shema Yisrael. And if I said it 3 times, the grip would release itself. And in the dream, I'm trying to use my vocal cords. So here I am, I'm trying to scream. So it was it was a little frightening, because I'm trying to scream the Shema Yisrael and nothing's coming out. Nothing's coming out. And then finally, I'm able to say it and get out of that dream, and then find myself in theta. But once I found myself in theta, which is in between wake and sleep, I wasn't struggling anymore. It wasn't as if I had to go through the fight to get out. And while I'm trying to scream, while the part of the dream where I'm in pain and I'm trying to scream and I'm being held down, I see across from me, it reminded me of my college bed. And my dresser used to be straight ahead, right in front of the bed. There was a box of tissue. In this particular dream, there was a box of tissue. So you know how there's a box of tissue and there's one little piece that sticks out. It was waving in the air, and I'm here like struggling, and I'm saying, but my brain is saying, what is that? What's waving? And it ended up being a rat. But this time it was a white and a light gray rat. The front part of the rat was white. The back had like a light gray. It wasn't threatening. It didn't feel threatening. But I was like, really? I'm here, I'm trying to scream, and there's a rat. It didn't. So, continuing with the dreams I've had, these are one after the other, is I feel that I'm being stopped in many of my dreams. It always feels like a customs. They want to interrogate me. They want to see what's going on, but it's not normal customs. It feels like an airport type situation, but they're not looking for anything in a suitcase. It's kind of like they want to interrogate me. And it always felt like it had something to do with the work I'm doing, or maybe it has something to do with subconsciously trying to stop me from doing what I'm doing, which is maybe the recordings or the messages that I'm giving. And I have this dream where this man comes up to me, and I'm in this isolated area, and this man comes to me with a gun and points it straight at me. And I look at him, I go, really? Are you here to kill me? And he goes, yes, I'm here to kill you. And for some reason, I don't know, he hesitated, and I grabbed the gun from his hand and I look at it. It's a wooden gun with round wooden bullets. And I look at him like, what are you? And then when I was just about to ask him, why are you trying to kill me? This woman from the left of us comes and walks up to us and hands him a folder. And he looks at the folder and he proceeds to leave. And I look at him and I said to him, why are you leaving? Like, what's going on? He goes, he read something in the file that said that this other person cannot have children. They won't be able to procreate. Therefore, he doesn't have to kill me anymore. And it immediately made me think of bloodlines, which is something that I've been downloading a lot about. So I looked at him, he says, does that mean you don't have to kill me? He goes, no, I don't have to kill you anymore. But instantly we're transported, the three of us. She looked like she was like a nurse, and he was this killer, and I'm there, and we transported to the front of a colonial, this beautiful colonial. And I know that that's my house. The feeling is that it's always been my house. And this is where he says to me, listen, I don't have to kill you, but can I have my gun back? And I look at him like, feeling that this is a very strange dream. And for me, my conclusion was that other person was me. It was somehow something about maybe from another time or a parallel life or a past life. Something was saying that since I could no longer procreate, I was no longer a threat, and they no longer had to kill me. And then, by mistake, I left, like a day after that, I left the recorder on for like 2 hours. And when I searched to see if I recorded anything, I had this mumbled recording. So obviously I was talking in my dream. And this is what I said. There is a deal. Saw the blood test and comparing them. They are the same address. So here again we have something about blood tests, something about comparing one to the other, something about a specific location. And I'm not really sure what it is. I'm just putting it out there in case someone is having something similar or they have some kind of idea what it means. But the interesting part is last night I had dreams about jewelry. Lots and lots of jewelry. I'm taking my jewelry and exchanging it for other jewelry, or I'm taking my jewelry and taking it apart and creating other jewelry. And it was like very strange. But there was one scene in particular where I'm in my office, which is a jewelry store, and a detective type person comes in with a whole bunch of other people and starts to ransack my jewelry store. And I'm pulling things away. It was a woman. I'm pulling stuff away from her hands. And she's saying to me, you can't do that. And almost as if I touch her again or take anything away from her, she was going to arrest me. And it was very clear to me that it had something to do with my dreams. They were looking not for what my dreams were, but for evidence that I'm tampering with my dreams and working with my dreams, because in that particular dream, it was illegal for me to intentionally go into my dreams and do any kind of dream work. So it was kind of like, it felt very Matrix-like the movie Matrix, where there were like official people that would come in and try to, except they weren't trying to kill me. At least not the detectives weren't trying to kill me. And so if you needed to know because what happens is when you're interpreting dreams, you always need to ask yourself, what does this symbolize to you? It's never looking it up. You can never look it up in a book. You have to ask the question. For instance, water can mean different things to different people. Some people might see it as something negative. Some people might see it as something positive. So when you're interpreting a dream, it's really important that you go step by step to all the symbolism in a dream and ask, what does this mean to you? So since I was dreaming of jewelry all night long, if you asked me, what does jewelry mean to me? For me, jewels are wisdom. Jewels are an idea of getting something in the rough, and if you are able to polish it sufficiently, you could have this brilliant gem. And that's a reference to us as a physical being, having a physical experience, and yet connected to a divine hierarchy. If we're able to sufficiently polish the physical being so that they can carry enough light, then they could be brilliant, like a jewel. And so for me, this is about being in a jewelry store. For me was kind of like being in a library, like a sacred library. I've had many dreams of the library in Alexandria, and scrolls and wisdom. And I've had dreams about being the keeper of sacred knowledge. Obviously, they're dreams. But so it felt like there's something happening that could be interesting. I'm just interested in knowing if anyone else is having any dreams that are similar. And the basic message is not to worry about it. It's just continue to work with your dreams, continue to have the confidence that we're trying to be reached in many different ways, and your dreams is one way that we're trying to be reached by a hierarchy of beings that reside in they're beings of light that reside in the hierarchy of light and unconditional love. So I am going to be working with instructions on dreams. We'll be recording in the next couple of weeks different steps that you can do to try and remember your dreams. And so stay tuned. I will be posting them soon.